She is the heart of Outlander. Sam Heughan publicly praises Caitriona Balfe. The moment when the quote made the world silent. The press conference room in Los Angeles was packed with reporters. This was the first promotional event for the final season of Outlander, a milestone not only for the audience, but also for those who had lived with the show for almost a decade. Sam Heughan walked onto the stage with his familiar smile. He looked much calmer and more mature than in the early years. Flashlights flickered continuously. Questions followed questions. But then, a female reporter stood up and asked, "Sam, if you had to use one sentence to describe Caitriona Balfe before this final season, what would you say?" Sam remained silent. Just a few seconds, but enough to make the whole room hold its breath. Then he said slowly, clearly, "She is the heart of Outlander." No cheers. No applause. Just a deep silence, as if everyone understood. Something very real had just been said. Not just co-stars. Caitriona Balfe sat a few seats away from Sam. She turned to look at him, momentarily surprised. Her eyes weren't the eyes of someone receiving flattery in front of the media. They were the eyes of someone who had weathered many storms with the other. Sam continued, "Outlander isn't just the journey of Jamie or Claire. It's the journey of all of us. But without Caitriona, without Claire, this story wouldn't have lasted this long." Caitriona bowed her head. She smiled, but her eyes were wet. The first days on set. Years ago, when Outlander was a risky project, Sam and Caitriona first met at an audition. No one thought the film would last nearly 10 years. No one thought these two strangers would become the symbol of on-screen love. Sam once recounted, "The first day I met Kate, she looked me straight in the eyes and said, 'If you're Jamie, then I'll be Claire in my own way.' At that moment, I thought, this woman is not simple." Caitriona also laughed. "Sam seems very loud on the outside, but inside he's a sensitive person. I knew that from the first scene." From that day on, they were more than just co-stars. They were each other's support system in the harsh world of production. Years of pressure and shadow. Success brings pressure. Fame brings scrutiny. Every glance between Sam and Caitriona was analyzed. Every smile was speculated upon. Every distance was misinterpreted. Sam once shared in a private interview, "There were times I was afraid to look at Kate on the red carpet. Not because I didn't respect her, but because every eye was scrutinizing our smallest gestures." Caitriona said, "We had to learn to protect our boundaries, otherwise everything would be swallowed up." But throughout those years, no matter how much pressure there was, Sam never left Caitriona alone in the media spotlight. When she was criticized for her appearance, Sam spoke up. When her abilities were questioned, Sam defended her. Not loudly, but clearly. Before the final season, the feeling of losing a family. When the news that season 8 would be the final season was confirmed, the cast and crew were overwhelmed by an unnamed emotion. Not disappointment, not exactly sadness, but a deep sense of regret. Sam confessed, "I spent almost 10 years living in that world. Living with Kate, living with every member of the crew. Outlander wasn't just a project. It was a part of my life." Caitriona's response was simpler. "I think the hardest thing isn't saying goodbye to the character. It's saying goodbye to the people you grew up with." Praise that caused a media wave. That very night, Sam's words spread worldwide. "She is the heart of Outlander." Entertainment news sites were all running headlines. Fans were moved. Netizens debated. Some called it the most beautiful tribute. Others read deeper layers of emotion. But Sam didn't retract his statement. In a later interview, he clarified, "People often ask me about Jamie Fraser. But few ask me about Claire Fraser. Caitriona brought to life a strong, gentle, intelligent, and vulnerable female character. Without her, Jamie would be a lone warrior. Caitriona's reaction: he's always the one who stays. When asked about Sam's words, Caitriona didn't shy away. She said slowly, "Sam is the one who always stays. When you're tired, when you doubt yourself, when you feel you're not good enough. He doesn't solve all your problems for you, but he's there." That statement silenced the entire film crew. It wasn't a flowery statement. It was an acknowledgement between two people who had weathered countless storms together. Final scenes. Tears don't come from acting. A final scene in Season 8. Jamie and Claire stand facing each other. The director shouts, "Action!" Caitriona looks at Sam. Sam looks at Caitriona. No one knows the line between acting and genuine emotion. When the director shouts, "Cut!" no one on the film crew applauds immediately. Caitriona turns away quickly. Sam stands still for a few seconds. He walks over and places his hand on her shoulder. No words, but enough for everyone to understand. A journey has just ended. Sam's personal confession behind the camera. Behind the scenes of a final shoot, Sam whispered to his assistant, "Kate taught me how to listen. Not on screen, but in life." The assistant remained silent. There are words that don't need to be known by the media. But then, Sam chose to say a part of it to the world. Not because of the scandal, but because of gratitude. They don't need to belong to each other, they belong to an era. Millions of comments appeared. They don't need to be in love in real life to become each other's souls on screen. Their feelings aren't romantic, they're soulmates. There are connections that don't need names. Fans understand. Not every deep feeling needs a romantic ending. Some relationships are born to exist as an important chapter in each other's lives. Caitriona's final words about Sam. In a short conversation with the cast and crew, Caitriona said, "If one day I get old and someone asks, what's the best thing about Outlander? I won't say the awards. I'll say, there's a co-star who believed in me from day one." When Outlander closes, the connection never ends. The final season is over. But for Sam Caitriona, it doesn't end. They don't need to walk the red carpet to prove anything. They have 10 years of memories, hundreds of scenes, countless times in the midst of media storms, and enough respect to not be swept away. She is the heart of Outlander. That statement wasn't a declaration of love. It was an acknowledgement that there are people who don't enter your life as a romantic relationship, but they enter as an indispensable part of your life journey. For Sam Heughan, Caitriona Balfe is more than just a co-star. For Caitriona, Sam is more than just a companion. They are the pieces that together created an era of Outlander, and when that era ends, what remains isn't scandal, but gratitude.